Welcome to today's Explainer. We are jumping right into a financial teardown of a mundane chore you probably do every single week. We're talking about the grocery store, and specifically how self-checkout shifted unpaid labor onto customers, caused a massive spike in retail theft and losses, and is now actually getting restricted by state laws, like Rhode Island's 2026 mandate for staffed checkout lanes. It is a wildly fascinating evolution of everyday technology, so let's get right into the hidden economics of self-checkout. So think about this for a second. Did you work an unpaid shift this week? Just picture your standard grocery routine. You roll your cart up to the front, and then you go to work. You're scanning items, you're furiously bagging groceries, trying not to hold up the line, you're hunting for that one specific produce code for Honeycrisp apples. And of course, you're standing there helpless when the machine inevitably barks unexpected item in bagging area at you. What you're doing right there is literally a job. It's a specific set of tasks that used to come with a paycheck. Now it doesn't. And that one simple shift is blowing up into a massive legal fight across the country. Here is our roadmap for today's Explainer. First, the unpaid labor shift. Second, rising theft and shrink. Third, the state law backlash. And finally, the illusion of convenience. All right, Section 1, the unpaid labor shift. The pitch versus the reality. Because, look, self-checkout wasn't actually invented as a favor to you. It was invented for the store's bottom line. The pitch they gave us was great, right? Skip the line, check out faster, you're in total control. And sure, on a random Tuesday morning when the store is empty, that might actually be true. But the underlying business reality was entirely different. It was a massive shifting of labor and a highly strategic payroll cut. The stores didn't slash staff because we were all suddenly begging to scan our own cereal boxes. They cut staff because the technology finally let them get away with it. The real scale of that payroll cut usually boils down to the magic number 6. You walk into any major grocery store today and you'll usually see 6 kiosks banked together. But instead of 6 human cashiers manning 6 separate registers, you've got one single, visibly exhausted employee standing in the middle trying to manage the entire zone. If you do the math, 6 cashiers became 1 employee. That is absolutely not a convenience upgrade for the shopper. That is a massive operational payroll cut for the business. So the reality of this strategy really comes down to this. You weren't upgraded, you were just quietly added to the payroll. Unpaid. When you think about it, you literally became part of their workforce. The labor didn't magically disappear, it just transferred from the person wearing the company uniform right onto you. Which brings us to Section 2, rising theft and shrink, or the hidden cost of all this automation. Here is where the story gets really messy for the retailers. To understand their current panic, you have to understand a retail economics concept called shrink. Shrink is basically just inventory that vanishes. It goes missing through deliberate theft, operational errors, or just honest mistakes. And what the industry very quickly figured out was that swapping out human cashiers for self-scanning kiosks caused their shrink to absolutely skyrocket. Now, shrink isn't just one single thing. In these self-checkout zones, it falls into 2 distinct buckets. On one hand, yes, you have deliberate theft. Without a dedicated human actually watching, it's just way easier for bad actors to walk out with things. But a huge chunk of this shrink actually comes down to honest mistakes. It's everyday friction. It's a forgotten barcode. It's an item you accidentally skipped because you are flustered. Why? Because the lines are backing up, people are staring at you, and that one single employee is busy helping someone 3 machines down. When you force overwhelmed customers to act as amateur cashiers, honest errors are going to go through the roof. And this leads to the most frustrating financial ripple effect for all of us. Because whether it's deliberate theft or just an honest mistake, someone has to pay for that lost inventory. And spoiler alert, it is not the store's shareholders taking the hit. Retailers bake their shrink losses directly into their pricing models. That means the financial losses from a system designed to save the company money are spread across the price of everyone's groceries. You're literally paying for it, even if you have never scanned an item wrong in your entire life. The costs were just quietly passed down the line to us. Let's move to Section 3, the state law backlash, legislating the checkout aisle. Because this isn't just internet complaining anymore, it is becoming active law. States across the country are introducing real bills to regulate or even outright restrict how grocery stores can use self-checkout. Lawmakers are pointing to 2 massive issues: the uncontrollable rise in retail theft and the severe labor concerns that come from these unstaffed checkout zones. The legal pushback is moving surprisingly fast. Phase 1 was basically total unregulated expansion, stores just dropping in as many machines as they physically could. Then, in phase two, we started seeing local pushback. City governments in places like Long Beach and Costa Mesa, California, started passing specific ordinances to limit these kiosks. But phase three is where things got incredibly serious, culminating in the Rhode Island mandate set for June 2026. Let's look at exactly what Rhode Island did here, because it's wild. In June, their governor signed a law requiring grocery stores that offer self-checkout to maintain a minimum number of staffed, manual lanes open at the exact same time. Just pause and think about the magnitude of that for a second. A state government literally had to step in and pass legislation to force grocery stores to keep human cashiers on the floor. What started as a quote-unquote convenience upgrade became such a massive operational disaster that lawmakers had to legally mandate human staff. So now, retailers are facing this incredibly ironic reality. They are having to redirect money right back into the exact same operational costs that self-checkout was supposed to eliminate. They tried to cut payroll, they tried to get rid of human cashiers, but now, thanks to massive shrink and new legal mandates, they're being forced to reinvest heavily in staffing and specialized theft prevention. They tried to outsmart the economics of human labor, and it totally backfired on them. Finally, Section 4. The illusion of convenience, and how this is actually a massive macro trend. Because once you start looking for this specific money lesson, you'll see it absolutely everywhere. Look at these other industries running the exact same playbook. Self-service gas pumps, airline check-in kiosks where you have to weigh and tag your own luggage, ATM machines that literally charge you a fee for using their convenient machine instead of bothering a human teller. Every single one of these technologies was pitched as a way to give you extra freedom. But in reality, they just shifted labor that used to be someone's paid full-time job right onto you for free. So the absolutely crucial takeaway I want you to remember from this explainer is this. Convenience is very often just a slick corporate word for moving the cost onto the customer and then asking you to say thank you on your way out. Now, obviously, that doesn't mean self-checkout is inherently evil or that you should stubbornly refuse to use it if you're in a rush, but you are finally seeing the system for what it actually is, an incredibly brilliant financial strategy. Which leaves us with a lingering question to wrap up on. The next time a shiny new automated system is marketed to you as a wonderful time-saving favor, ask yourself, convenient for who? Is it actually convenient for you, or is it just a whole lot more convenient for their bottom line? Definitely something to chew on the next time you're bagging your own groceries. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this changes how you view your next trip to the store, and I'll see you next time.